Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
Marcia Parker.
I'm Eric Harrison from the Death Twitch.
And we are here to do a review for a patron, SK. We are doing Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's version. And this is hot on the heels of having just rewatched the first one and doing a review of it. And the first one still held up okay, although it ended up being more boring than we remembered it being. All of our appreciation for the first one did go down between our first viewing and our second viewing, and I believe we have a very similar situation here with the second one. I don't remember liking this one. I've only seen it one other time, when it first came out. I don't remember liking it very much that time, and I did not. The only part I liked again this time, or that I liked this time, was the opening 15 minutes. Where I thought we were like, oh, cool, we're right back in a new Halloween movie, and it's picking up right where the last one left off, just like the first series did. But then it was like, oh, no, that was a dream sequence. Here's a bunch of shitty characters that some you know and some you don't, but you're going to hate them all. And then there's a bunch of nonsensical shit you're going to try and follow, and then we're going to give you a super disappointing ending. There you go. That's what I thought of this one. Marcia?
Yeah. I concur, really. It's really a Rob Zombie movie. I do appreciate Rob Zombie, I do, but when I watch this one again, I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, let's pull him back a little bit. There's a little bit right. Too much of him showing himself off. A little too much. Like you said, everybody's an asshole in this movie. There's no real rhyme or reason. You don't get kind of a break from it at all. No. I mean, the gore was good. The kills, I feel like there wasn't as... I mean, there was...
The ones you could see?
Yeah, like, it was super dark. And I feel like we did get more kills, but at the same time, they were so spread out that it wasn't satisfying.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And then the biggest kill that you were waiting for, they didn't show it to you. Mm-hmm. So that was disappointing as well. Sure. I don't know, like, I wanted to like this movie because I liked it before, but I think, it's a miss. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, it is. Eric, your overall thoughts on this one?
Oh man, watching it again with you guys right now is really crystallized how wrong I was at some point, apparently. I understand. I guess it was because, like, I can foresee some of the direction that he was trying to take it in, and like I was saying earlier, I think in the commentary, that he was kind of restrained to some extent on the first one to do the formula and the story and whatever, and he was more free in the second one, and I can see some potential there. So that's where it's frustrating, because you can see some potential, mm-hmm. and then just a lot of bullshit that gets in the way, and it comes off as if it was made by somebody that has a 5th grade like IQ level. I don't know. It was really dumb, and like right. Everybody was one-dimensional and mm-hmm. dislikable, and I don't understand why. Why do we want to be like just hit over the head with annoying characters for 2 hours?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I don't know.
For the mass amount of titties.
Yeah, lots of boobies. So we'll try and stick to this review as we normally can. We might jump around to talk about the badness, but yeah, I mean, our overall thoughts are clear. The story was nonsensical. Yeah. It's 2 years after the first one, apparently, even though they make you think it picks up right where the last one left off, which would have been way more interesting. It's 2 years later. Laurie and her best friend, played by Danielle Harris, are now like bitchy roommates. Laurie is a complete asshole douche that is dealing with her trauma in the worst way. Except
the sheriff, he was cool.
Yeah, and then Michael Myers somehow appears after 2 years. And
just walking through an endless field.
Yeah,
he walked through a whole state to get there.
I get, but why suddenly 2 years later on Halloween instead of 1 year, or what? Yeah. No rhyme or reason. So anyway, Michael comes back and tries to go after Laurie again, kills everyone around her, even though that doesn't make a lot of sense either. But that's the plot, and I thought it was just a poorly executed story that was just haphazard at best, and it was half thought out at worst.
Yes, that's what I was trying to get across. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I don't know. And this was only made 2 years later, and that's basically the time it takes to make a Hollywood movie. So I guess they just immediately started because they had good opening numbers. So they just immediately let Rob Zombie completely take over a Halloween sequel, which had potential but went wrong. Unfortunately.
Thoughts on the story, Marcia?
Well, I don't like how they try to use Sherry Moon and the mother story to fill in holes of the story and trying to, like, not the overall story, but, like, Michael's story. So they're trying to excuse his, like, continuation of murdering and going after Laurie because his mother told him to do it, and his younger self is following around.
Now he's Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, and I thought that was a weird take, and it really felt like he was just trying to find a way to put Sherry back into the movie. And you can do that in other ways. You don't need the whole white horse thing. It was kind of ridiculous. Just let's get to it. If they would have just take that first, like you said, if they took the first 15 minutes of the film and just kept going that direction, it would have been 100% better.
Probably. Yeah, and you guys were really enjoying the opening to the movie, and I was concerned because I'm like, I knew it was a dream sequence. I knew what was coming. I'm like,
I even said,
oh,
like, this isn't a dream sequence, is it?
I didn't even want to ruin your parade, so I was trying not to say anything. I was like, it's going to end bad. It's just going to get worse and then worse and then worse.
So what are your thoughts on the story now, though? How it plays out?
Yeah, there was a kernel of interesting, aspect there between her dealing with the aftermath of what happened. And that's interesting, totally, and it can affect a person in ways that would make you probably maybe unpleasant in some ways. But to be that extreme, it ruined it. It oversaturated. It just was taken too far, and they didn't really explore enough of that. And the way he was trying to, it was kind of overly artsy but simplified at the same time. Opening with the quote, like, that's just so,
it is. It's
cringe,
so
right? It's a little cringe.
Yeah, it is.
They did that for the opening of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and that was okay in the 80s. But 2009, you're still opening with the ominous quote that's supposed to set the tone for your.
It wasn't even ominous.
Aspect.
It was just. It felt like it was slapped on to try and explain something that test crowds didn't get.
Probably right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they were like, "What the fuck is this white horse?" And it's like, "God, I just gotta put the fucking quote at the beginning so they'll shut the fuck up."
Right.
Yeah.
Was the quote in the non-director's cut too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel
As
like you
far as I
have to,
Yeah.
because
otherwise-
any of the other stuff is not going to make any sense.
The quote doesn't excuse the horse. I'm sorry, but the quote does not
It's not.
give enough of a reason to be like you can't watch the movie and be like, what the fuck was the horse, and then watch it again with the quote and be like, no, it's not that cut and dry. No. So
Yeah,
anyway,
they had such potential to explore that aspect, and then they went with surreal imagery and instead to replace like actual interesting psychological interpretation of what could happen to a person. It sucks to see like potential, and then he veered away from it like as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And Michael was flipping over a car for no reason.
Oh my
Yeah.
god! Literally, no. He could have simply just grabbed her and pulled her out of it. Like
The chase between Michael and Laurie was absolutely absolute. Like, there's nothing there.
no.
Like, it was just they were at the house. Like, he wasn't even at the house when she got there. He just found her, like, running away.
It was
I don't
just.
know.
It was
Was he there? I
convenience
guess he
for
was there, 'cause he
convenience's
killed
sake.
the other
He
girl.
killed
Yeah.
the deputy.
But there was no.
Well, let's move into the acting, which
right.
was
Oh, no, do we have
so
to?
frustrating
The
and
whole-
so bad. Scout Taylor Compton just solidified why I am not a fan of hers. Like, I don't like tearing people down, but she was passable in the first one. She's unbearable in this one. And I have not seen, again, I've only seen a couple of movies that she's popped up in. One of them was Cynthia from this last year, and it was
never seen her in
just
anything
awful. She's so wooden, and in this she was overly the other direction, trying to be like this traumatized girl that's just like, whatever, I'm a party, and it's just, she was so annoying.
Yeah.
Like, there has to be a balance with your main character. They can have those swings, but when it's all one, like when it's all in the red the entire time, then it just gets so annoying.
Like, you don't care if she dies. You're like,
no, you want her to, please, so she'll shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying at the end. I was like, why is everybody trying to save this girl?
No, you know what? I think the cops at the end felt the way we did. We're just just fucking put her down. Just shoot her.
Yeah.
Clearly that's not Michael Myers. Clearly she's not going to do anything, but let's shoot her anyway.
Yeah.
So
like, maybe we can end the curse. Maybe this guy will stop coming back to our fucking town and killing people if we just kill her.
The only actor I was okay with was Brad Dourif. Again.
Yeah.
I love Brad Dourif and everything that he's in, pretty much.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Again, he was surrounded by dog shit in this movie. So, like, he was just wading through it like it was quicksand.
Yeah.
Even Danielle Harris couldn't bring any kind of likability out of that character.
She was one note because all she had to do was play off of the shittiness of Laurie.
Sure.
Right.
Like she started okay. Like in the morning, right? She was like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And then we saw how shitty he was, and then she's just like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna be shitty to you the rest of the movie until I get killed off screen.
Yeah. Oh, God,
Which why? Like, I get it that she had a big quote unquote death scene in the first one. You didn't need to repeat it, but to just show like 4 seconds of slow motion running away, and then that's it, and then just have some audio, like, oh my God.
And then when they try to replay it back, they didn't really replay it back at all. They just show Michael like tearing down like the props in the room, like, like I'm so angry, I want to smash things.
That's exactly what they showed us.
What?
Michael
wasn't
smash.
satisfying.
No, like like the whole point of a Michael Myers movie, just in case you didn't know, was to watch him like slice and dice people. Like,
and it was almost an interesting way to set it up to hear it first, and then if you got to see that, it would have been a cool topper. But we didn't see that.
We didn't see anything.
We didn't see that.
Am I wrong, or did he do? He didn't do anything creative in this one. He just stabbed with a butcher knife the entire
except
movie.
the glass.
Yeah, but that was before he had his
bashed
butcher knife.
the naked lady into the mirror.
Okay.
He sort of, but it wasn't. He stomped that guy's face. Do you see what I mean?
The stomping of the face was the only good thing in the movie.
He
in my
did different
opinion.
things, but a lot of them aren't memorable.
No,
unfortunately.
but I'm saying the blonde friend stabbed, the Frankenfurter friend strangled. Nothing interesting. Loomis stabbed. The dudes in the car when he first shows up stabbed. Like Michael had some creativity, at least in the early ones, you know, especially when he, like, I thought at least that blonde chick was going to be pinned against the wall when Scout came down the stairs, but we didn't even get that.
No, she didn't even see it. Did she?
No, she did. She saw her, and she was leaning against the wall.
Yeah.
And it could have been that she was pinned, but they didn't show a wide angle to show if that was the case. I was like, oh, there's an opportunity. Like, I thought in the close angle, I was like, oh, they're going to cut to a wide, and it's going to be a throwback to the first one. Not even that.
Yeah.
Not even that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it's a deleted.
Acting? Anyone else on the acting?
No, I think you pretty much summed it up. Like, it was annoying, and you didn't like anybody, and I don't know. Chris Hardwick was cool.
Yeah.
Silence.
True.
I
mean, he was there.
He was
Hardwick.
I think he did a well enough job.
Did a well job.
He
did a good job.
Yeah.
Eric, your thoughts on the acting in this one?
No, what can you add?
Like, yeah.
How about let's talk about the obscene backslide of Loomis from part 1 to part 2? Like, he went from kind of interesting, almost cares about a child, but then gets twisted by the fame towards the end. Not even twisted by the fame, because there's no fame yet in the movie. But he's still got the core of caring about Michael, which I thought made him more interesting than the first Loomis.
People in general.
Yeah, I thought that made him more interesting than the first Loomis. The first Loomis felt very one note compared to Malcolm McDowell in the first one. This Loomis is the worst portrayal of all Loomis.
I don't even know why we were following him around. He wasn't even interested about
bitching at his assistant.
Right.
Really, we need that.
Wasn't even concerned about Michael coming back, or the fact that he didn't even want to talk about the body being missing or any of that. Or nobody talked about the fact that the guy's. I still get mad that nobody talks about the guy's head was cut off with a piece of glass. Yeah, everybody thinks Michael's dead, even though the body's gone.
I'm sure they just thought it happened in the car wreck.
But
the body
it doesn't scientifically doesn't make sense because if a glass goes through you, it's not gonna saw.
You don't know. Maybe.
Oh, it goes
maybe
along
part
with
of
that.
maybe the spine of the
Cavalier
cow
mask.
came through the windshield
Maybe.
and
Ooh,
saw
that's
through.
hardcore.
Yeah, but no, like Loomis was a dud in this,
Totally.
Yeah,
and
he was
and
awful.
almost
More than
annoying.
a dud.
I think he was more annoying than Laurie was, just
They
because
just ramped up the annoying of everyone.
Right?
I don't understand that.
Yeah, I said earlier, I was like, when we were starting it, this is like, everything's ramped up. Everything. And not in a good way.
No, definitely not.
And then he just shows up at the end and does nothing except for die.
Yeah, he literally walks in, confuses the plot.
Yeah.
By not seeing a Michael. We don't know if he saw neither Michael or if he just didn't see Kid Michael. And that adds a layer of the story that's like, wait, what the fuck? So what is her problem? Why does she feel held down? Like, this is so
Because
ridiculous.
it was the connection. Yeah.
She's being weighed down by her
She's
dead
on
family.
like an acid or something. I don't know.
God.
Maybe somebody roofied her.
I get it that it's supposed to be symbolic of the fact that she's being held down by her familial connections, but Jesus, what a clumsy way to try and portray that.
Mm-hmm.
I just try to imagine Rob Zombie writing this at his house and thinking, oh yeah, that's cool.
That'd be cool.
Every time, and you just see Rob at his house, and you just see Sherry Moon walk by with a horse. I'm gonna put that in.
Because that's what they do at their house.
Would you expect anything else? I mean, what
Not
would you
really.
expect at a Rob Zombie house?
No.
I could see her walking through with a horse. Hey, hon.
What's up?
happened.
Just feeding.
Babe, you just got the horse.
I'm gonna go ride it now. Bye.
Why are you dressed up all in white? Oh,
It's fun.
it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
So, all right. We did touch on the gore.
Yeah.
The gore effects were really good in this one, especially up front.
Yeah.
And then we started to get less and less as the movie progressed. Again, it was just,
Yeah.
it was a lot of shadow killing. Like, we might as well have been wearing sunglasses at night watching this movie.
It was so
We
hard.
might as well have been the Blues Brothers.
It was so hard to watch this movie just because it was so dark,
Mm-hmm.
and it took away so much from like the effect of Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not supposed to be super, super, super dark. I mean, yeah, he hides behind trees and jumps out and like, hey. But like, one thing that I do like about Michael Myers movies is like, you do see him kind of stalking in the background,
Mm-hmm.
and you see his presence there, and you feel his like, the heaviness of his presence, but you don't get that here at all. Like, he's just there.
They literally tell you how heavy he is at the very beginning, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Like, that's the thing. If you're going to show the weight of a character, you need to knock him down once and have him fall through something so you can see.
Ooh,
You know
like
what I mean?
knock him through like the floor.
Yeah, and he drops through into the first floor, just
And we
like
didn't-
Jason
and
did
we
in that
didn't
one,
get
Friday the 13th.
We didn't get his house either. We didn't get to go to his house.
No, that's true.
No, they were just one.
Well, no, they did because that's where Loomis did the exterior shot that the assistant didn't.
That
didn't
passed
agree
by
with.
so fast. And we
Yeah,
were
there
just
was no
annoyed.
reason. It was literally no reason.
It was a shitty, stupid scene, and we hated it. And
I'm just saying it was there.
It
was there.
we sort of just let it go.
They just couldn't get rights to go film there that day, so they're like, fuck it.
And honestly, I'm going to go ahead and say, while we were praising the cinematography a little bit in the last one, this one was just a kind of a jumbled mess. And the cinematography goes hand in hand with the lighting a lot of times. And when you can't see shit, you can't see if the angle's good or not.
Right.
Like, literally, it's just, oh, okay, there's a blur, and now our main character is being dragged out of frame. I'm assuming that's Michael.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a way to watch a movie. It's not. But, I mean, with all the choppy editing and the blurry flashes and the random slow motion for no reason, and, like, the actual presentation of the film is just, again, I just
Rob
keep coming
Zombie.
back to haphazard. Yeah, but even sometimes Rob Zombie has a method to his madness. This was much more last act of House of a Thousand Corpses
Yep.
than it was Devil's Rejects.
Yeah.
It's not the clean, crisp filmmaking of Devil's Rejects. It is the nasty, tacked on
Well, that's
feel
why I was bringing up
of House of a
earlier
Thousand
about
Corpses.
them doing it so quickly. Then he just having to write it like in a week or a few weeks or whatever at his house, and probably everything was probably rushed.
A movie like this doesn't take 2 years to make. You could film this and get it done in a year. So they probably took 6 months.
They would
and then went
there would
into
be
it.
some months of
And he had to go on tour, so there's
That's
that.
true.
I
He
don't
had,
know.
Still,
he had to
I
hire you for
But no,
Yeah.
my point being though is that Rob Zombie had to do a movie in a certain short amount of time.
No,
He
I
had to
know.
make another, like, Rob's. I'm like trying to put it. There's kind of a handicap there. He's all right, but it's
That's
Rob
true.
Zombie. You can't.
That's true.
He's got
He need-
potential, but you can't.
He
be
needs time to be able to.
like, 2 years. We need another one of these.
That's a
Yeah.
good point. That's a good point. Unrealistic
Write it and
restrictions.
direct this sucker. Real
But
quick.
but then how long did he have for the first one? We don't really know.
No, but he had more restriction too. There was more like you have to do an homage to the original.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he was unleashed.
So
here,
maybe
and-
maybe he
but
works better.
also had
Maybe he works
limit.
better with the restrictions. You know.
Yes,
I think so.
I
Yeah.
think so.
I mean, a lot of you mentioned A House of a Thousand Corpses and the end of it. You know, the thing behind that is like it was good up to the end because he was following script and then he went off script.
Well, because
So he went crazy.
the studio gave him like $1 million extra
Yeah.
to finish the movie, and so he's like, oh, let's just do Dr. Satan and all this shit, and
Yeah.
and that's why it felt like not the same movie because
Right.
it wasn't. Like
Right.
there was a literally different ending, a different last act to
Mm-hmm.
that movie until the studio gave him extra money to do it.
Yeah.
So we
And
got
I
off
think
on a
this
tangent.
is another example of what happens when you do that.
Yeah, yeah. This was just a mess.
I don't know. It is confusing because like again to repeat, you know what you said before. Like if that first 15 minutes became the whole movie, it would have been so much better because you like the special effects, the feel, the cinematography. It wasn't as dark, but it still had that grunge realistic to it, and it felt real, and it carried over a little bit of part one where you felt like this could be an actual situation, and then it just became ridiculous after that. It's just unfortunate. And they could have like kept her being this like grungy misfit without her being super annoying. I don't know. I can't fix it.
Well, yeah. I mean, any final thoughts from you guys? I think we've covered pretty much everything
Yeah.
about why this is a piece of dog shit.
It's just a weird situation for me to have liked it at one point and to very clearly understand now why everyone was trying to tell me the whole time, and I'm like, oh, okay, what the fuck?
Well, mindset can have to do with what you think of a movie too. So
Total. Oh yeah, I know all about that.
yeah.
totally.
So I mean, I've not liked a lot of movies that I've seen in the theater just because I was tired, and then when I watch it again on DVD, I'm like, that's actually a really good movie. I don't know why I didn't like that the first time.
I definitely get like that sometimes.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we'll go ahead and call our review of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 there. Kind of glad there's not a third one to have to go into. But thank you very much to SK for suggesting this via Patreon. If you guys want to become patrons, click the link in the description box down below, and you can actually request movies for us to do reviews or commentaries of. So if you have a different Rob Zombie movie you want us to do, that's the way to force us to do it. So thanks very much for watching, guys. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
I'm Marcia Parker.
Hey, I'm Eric Harrison.
And remember,
Stay
scared.